Joining me now from the FTX SALT conference to talk about all about crypto, Bahamas, and all things Bitcoin is Anthony Scaramucci, the founder of SkyBridge Capital and the host of FTX SALT.
Well, thank you for having me. One of the hosts. Obviously, Sam Bankman-Fried is hosting it alongside of me and his team.
With handsomer, with nicer, with more combed hair.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of gel in the hair right now. Yeah, I was getting ready for TV. But thank you for having me, and see that Bitcoin's up $100 since you and I started talking. I feel pretty good about that. No, I'm kidding.
It's under $40,000. It's under that psychological line. It's in that thin trading range.
Yeah, listen, I mean, but it's been a tight range for a very long period of time. It seems like it's treading in that range. Of course, there's a lot going on in the world, which you and I both know. There's a war going on, an inflation threat, a Federal Reserve that may or may not be behind the curve. We'll only know in a few years how far behind the curve they actually are, or is the inflation more transitory than most people think? It'll be something that we won't figure out for a couple of years. I have, and I would like to congratulate Michael Saylor and Fidelity, and I'm very proud to tell you that SkyBridge will eventually be in that category where we're offering 401k product, Bitcoin-related product, and possibly other cryptocurrency-related products.
Creating a mining fund.
Yes, we've already done that. We basically created an SPV to put money into Genesis Digital Assets, which is one of the largest miners in the world. It's currently private, and we've probably raised in total about $45 million in that special purpose vehicle. Yeah, so we did do that.
You come on the show and you said that Bitcoin will be the reserve currency. And I wonder, if you could...
I did, yes. I don't want to go as far to say that it will be the singular reserve currency. I'm going to leave that lane for Safedin Amos, the author of the Bitcoin Standard and the Fiat Currency Standard. But I do think that it will be one of. I think there will eventually be a basket of currencies. The U.S. dollar will maintain for a long period of time its level of supremacy as a fiat currency. But I do think there will come a time where Bitcoin is added to the balance sheet of financial services companies, central banks around the world, etc.
Well, that's right, because not only are you investing a lot in Bitcoin, but you're investing in Algorand and other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, so we have a couple of different things. We have a diversified coin fund, we have the Algorand fund, we have a Bitcoin and Ethereum fund. So you can go into your sort of banquet table, if you will, at SkyBridge and pick and choose the various different things.
But I'm curious. Where do you see Bitcoin in terms of valuation right now? We're at about an 800 million market cap, and I've seen, Michael Saylor and others saying it's going to be 100 trillion market cap at one day.
Yeah.
You see that, goal?
Well, listen, Michael has a tremendous amount of high conviction. I'm sort of in the 3 to 5 year intermediate camp. I don't want to make that big of a long-term prediction, but I think I sort of live where Kathy Woods lives, where if Bitcoin gets to 1 billion to 1.5 billion wallets, which I think it clearly could. The Glassnode total last week was around 250 million wallets. If we go to 1.5 billion wallets, there's no reason why Bitcoin can't trade at $500,000 a coin. It doesn't mean it's not going to be volatile. It doesn't mean it's not going to be sloppy. Most technological stories like Bitcoin have a lot of volatility in them as they're adopted.
I want to say, when I was with you at SALT in New York City last year, it was, you were wearing a suit, now you look like you're a Bahamian.
Now I look like a hacker house person, but
at the time it was really interesting because there were a lot of crypto companies at SALT, which was, for me, a first where I began to see a lot of crypto companies in traditional alternative finance, hedge fund conferences. And so now, you've totally gone crypto with this conference, and SkyBridge has also turned to crypto as well.
So the SALT conference is a little different from Crypto Bahamas. What we did with Sam and his team, when we met after SALT, we said, okay, we'd like your help in growing the SALT conference business around the world. And so with Sam's help at FTX, we're going to do an event in Singapore. We're going to return to Abu Dhabi, where we did an event in December of 2019. Of course, I can't wait to see you at the SALT conference at the Javits Center.
We can't wait to see you at Consensus.
Next September, I'll be at Consensus as well.
Consensus June Austin.
But the point I'm making is that we're in the conference business. When Sam said that he wanted to be partners with us, one of the asks from FTX was, well, let's do a pure Bitcoin conference in the Bahamas, the new world headquarters, the global headquarters of FTX.
Interesting. You made some waves. A lot of people have been talking about some of the guest speakers you have here, which is Tony Blair, Bill Clinton, whose wife
both have spoken at SALT before.
Whose wife Hillary Clinton has not spoken so favorably about cryptocurrency. So I wonder how you managed to.
So I think that's the interesting dynamic between SkyBridge and SALT and FTX. FTX represents this new, younger generation of people that see Web3 and see the future. And I sort of would like to see ourselves, no pun intended, because the name of our firm is SkyBridge, but as a bridge to people that are in traditional finance, or in somebody like President Clinton's case, who's a policy wonk, long-standing policy wonk. I want to get them to embrace this. We want to get them to be intellectually open-minded to it. And so,
is it a matter of speaking fees, or is it a matter of they genuinely interested in wanting to talk about crypto?
they can go anywhere, frankly, and make speaking fees. We've had speakers turn us down because they hate crypto and they don't want anything to do with crypto, and so they turn us down. Those are usually, somebody like Warren Buffett would never speak at an event of ours, Charlie Munger, etc. But somebody like Bill Clinton, I think, is openly curious.
Warren Buffett's daughter
is she? Which one? Susie?
I don't know. The name escapes me, but
all right. Well, I'll have to go look for her because I'm friends with one of them.
I just want to ask you quickly
anyway.
is, Elon Musk, he's acquired Twitter for $44 billion. A lot of crypto Twitter is excited about this move, but a lot of questions about, what exactly is he going to do with it? Is he going to bring back former President Trump's Twitter account? How decentralized? How is the transition going to be from Web 2 to Web 3? And I wonder your take on that.
Listen, I think it's going to be very tough for President Trump to get back on Twitter, and that's why President Trump said yesterday to the Fox News people that he's not going back to Twitter. That's him letting you know that he's saying, in other words, it's like at the prom, the person says, well, I'm definitely not going with Twitter, because Twitter's not going to ask you. You see what I'm saying? So he's not going to get offered back on a Twitter until they have a full examination of what happened on January 6th. And we shouldn't go into the politics of it because you've got left and right leaning people watch your show. But I don't think he's going to be able to get back on Twitter. That's my personal view, which is why he's already saying that he's not going back. So as it relates to Elon Musk, though, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's a brilliant visionary. He's probably the most successful entrepreneur ever, but certainly of our generation of people. And he sees something there that even Jack Dorsey, one of the original founders of Twitter, sees. And that's an opportunity to break out of the current malaise of Twitter. Now, I'll speak for myself. I have tons of bots that descend on me. Some of them hate me, some of them love me. We have a lot of adversaries, political adversaries around the world that have created server farms of fake personalities that are designed to hurt the West and to hurt the democracies of the West. And I think where Elon Musk is coming from is if you can use tokenization and the properties of the blockchain that can help decentralize something and empower individuals, well, then something, I think that's going to be an amazing thing for the world. And I want to give Elon Musk the benefit of the doubt. This is not a money play from Elon Musk. I think he's made enough money. I don't think he's interested in that. He's interested in doing something transformative and visionary, so I want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Just one last question. We did see a tweet from Jeff Bezos. Maybe there was some millionaire jealousy or rivalry there, but he says, interesting question. Did the Chinese government just gain a bit of leverage over the town square? And he's referring to, Tesla is the second biggest market in 2021.
The batteries
China,
are made there.
The batteries are made there. So thoughts on that?
So, listen, I want to get into what's going on there in terms of the bashing of each other's egos. I mean, that's their thing. They're both competitive in the rocket business. They're both competitive at the top of the richest in the world list. And, God bless both of them because they've added a lot of value to the world. All of us are using Amazon, and it's been a force generally for good. Some people on Main Street in these smaller shops may disagree, but that's what you have to do when technologies come. You have to adapt. If you're running a carriage and horse business and the horseless carriage comes along, you got to make the adaptation. So I give credit to Jeff Bezos and to Elon Musk for being visionaries. I think he's wrong about this, though, because I don't think that Elon
To be
Musk...
fair, he said that he didn't think it would be the case.
Oh, did he say
yeah,
that? Okay,
yeah.
I know. Okay, so it seemed like it was implied that he thought it might be, but if he's saying that he doesn't think it would be the case, then I do agree with him, because Elon Musk beat his own drum. Ultimately, he's not going to be unduly influenced by anybody. He's such an iconoclastic, earth-shattering sort of personality that my money's on him not taking a lot of guff from anybody, whether it's the Chinese government or any government for that matter. So we'll see what happens, but I like it.
He wants to spread freedom of speech. He wants to extend the light of consciousness. Job with it.
And I think it's very telling that Jack Dorsey likes it. Tells you what he thinks about where the future could be as well.
All right, Anthony, very exciting.
Always great to be with you.
Always a pleasure.
I hope I'm going to see you here throughout the conference.
Co-founder of the SALT FTX conference and the founder of SkyBridge Capital, Anthony Scaramucci. Thanks so much.
Great to be on.